Hi, I'm Tom. This is Genghis. He's a Shedford MJ, ex-British Army from 1988. I've been living in him for 2 years now. Paying rent got pretty annoying, you know, after the second month when I realised I had to do it again and again and again. So, you know, what's the next thing? You start looking at different ways to do it. All over YouTube is like tiny houses and van life and stuff like that. So I was going to get a van to start with, just spiraled out of control, and then found this on eBay. Perfect time, perfect place, perfect money. Couldn't say no. This was £4,350, and at the time when I bought it I had £4,355, so it was perfect. 2016, September the 28th, and then I moved into it 2017, November 4th. But when I moved into it, I didn't have a bathroom, I didn't have a shower, so that was all built, but I hadn't tiled it and waterproofed it. I didn't have a wood burner. There was a lot of loose ends to tie up, but I had to leave where I was building it, so I had to move into it. I started off with lots of ideas of buying everything, and it all been really easy, and I could just get everything off the shelf. And then I remembered I only had £5 left in my bank account, so got my next paycheck in and bought all the steel. It was about 6 months of making the framework. Like, the actual structure wasn't that expensive. The materials weren't. It's things like the fridge, solar power, the panels, the batteries, just adds up so quickly. You know, I probably spent £3 on all my electrics. Altogether, I think it probably cost, including the vehicle, about 15 grand. Yeah, all in. So Genghis is a Bedford MJ from 1988. It's got a 5-litre diesel engine. It's one of the first British Army trucks to have a turbo on it. Turbos are pretty new, doesn't really do anything, it's the smallest thing ever. One of my favourite bits about it, it's got a gun turret, so there you go, that's about all the specs. Yeah, it's just a pretty ridiculous truck all around. The beer terrace up there. The really useful thing that I found when I was building it is all these sides fold out, and I connected chains to them, so the whole time I didn't have to use any scaffolding or anything. I was just building it around the little terrace around the whole things, and now I use that still for like just chilling out on and stuff. British Army, but it's served in Germany, which is why it's left-hand drive, so that's another really useful thing for driving on tiny British roads. So it doesn't have power steering, and it's basically as agricultural as it looks. It's basically a tractor with a shed on the back. It's got a 4-speed gearbox, which isn't enough, and you can't even pull away in first unless you're on a vertical slope, like you're going like 1 mile an hour, so I always pull away in second. Top speed I got it to is about 60, but it was down a real steep hill and it was pretty terrifying. The lights are pretty rubbish. Generally it's just an old vehicle designed in the 50s, but they just didn't really change the design for 30 years, and I got one of the last ones that's built, and yeah, they didn't really change anything, so it's not great. Not great, it drives like a 50s car, but yeah. Inside, it's got batteries, spare fuel, diesel tank, bit of storage. Planning to redo all the storage under here when I get some time. German Army steps, because the British Army ones, don't know, they didn't really work on this lorry, so managed to get these from Germany. Got the beer engine on the back, which is essential, so even though my house is only 8 square metres, I've still got my own bar. Got the wastewater tanks underneath here. I had to make them because I couldn't find anyone that made a sort of tubular water tank which sort of slotted in perfectly in the Bedford MJ chassis. Wood store and gas store in here, and I've got I fill it up from out here, and then I've got a hatch on the inside so I can take it all out. Fold out the green bit, and then got a little outdoor barbecue, but it doesn't have legs on it, and I got really bored of hunching over the whole time, so I made a little flap that folds out. Yeah, it's pretty solid, it's pretty heavy. All the cladding is pallets. I didn't just stick the pallets on there, I wanted to have it a bit more weatherproof, so I routed out the edges, and so I made a bit of overlap on them, which was massively time consuming as well. I really wanted the loops to go around to look all the same, and that was massively time consuming, so the thickness of the board is the same the whole way around on each row. That took ages, finding enough strips to go the whole way around at the right length. Yeah, more time. So on the roof I've got a rainwater collection system. So inside I've got a 360 litre water tank, and in England you can pretty much rely on it raining most of the time, so I only really have to fill up if we get a massive dry spell, with me living in there on my own. So the water comes down here. This bit normally has a cap on it, but my water tank's full at the moment because it's been raining enough. And this first little bit is called the first flush system. and the first bit of the water that comes on sits in here, so like the real crud and the real rubbish on the roof sits in here, so it doesn't enter the water tank as well. And then we got the spare tyre down here. The Bedfords don't have a tipping cab, so you only got access a little bit in here each side for general maintenance and stuff, and they used to lift the whole cab off. Got the stable door. It's nice to have a bit of privacy sometimes, but you still want the ventilation, so you shut the bottom one, and then when people come around at the bottom of the stairs looking, it's a bit less like someone's trying to walk in your house, you know. The stained glass window my mum actually made, so that was really good. She's made the curtains and the stained glass window, so it's nice to get my mum involved. Central wood burner, you know, winters in England are nice and cold, so that when this thing's going, it heats up the whole thing, and sometimes I have to have the windows open when it's snowing even, because it chucks out the heat if you like proper go for it. As we come in, obviously got the boards on the roof, and this is the kitchen area. So the kitchen's made out of just the large bits of wood that come off some of the pallets. The ammo crates, I wanted to make an army kitchen basically. I've got an army truck, so it made a lot of sense to me to bring a bit of that inside. So this door I found in Italy, you know, just lying on the side of the road, and brought it back in your hand luggage. I'm living in it full time, and it's nice to have an oven because, you know, you can just chuck a pizza in or something. So the little fridge, all just drawers and kitchen food, you know, standard. Cupboard in here, it's got all of the electrical system in it, the solar controllers, inverters and fuse boxes, as well as the water heater. So I've got 720 watts on the roof, two 230 amp hour leisure batteries, so 460 amp hour. Basically, I can survive without being plugged in the UK until February. Above the bathroom, you always need storage. Got loads more storage up here, just boxes and climbing stuff. You need stuff everywhere, and then as you come further in, you've got the bathroom. You've got to be on the inside to open the bathroom. Yeah, so bathroom. Just wanted a tiled bathroom, and because I got the weight capacity to do it, you know, have a little local composting toilet in there. Just pretty simple, 12-volt fan and a bucket basically. Use the ash from the wood burner. Yes, I've got an instant water heater, which does all my hot water. That's in the utility room as well. Come in here, I've got the Chesterfield sofa. It's got my water tank underneath it. I didn't really want any water pipes or anything exposed to the outside, so all of my plumbing is inside and insulated, and the water tank's inside as well. Nice to have it all secure and safe, and if I take it anywhere where someone wants to mess with my water system, like, it's really hard for them to like contaminate the tank, and I can shut it off from the rainwater really easily. I couldn't buy one, I couldn't find one that would fit underneath and have the sofa on top. The only ones were I'd have massive amount of like feet off the ground, so I ended up having to make the water tank as well. And I got loads of extra storage, so I found all these in a skip, and they just like slotted in perfectly. You know, more storage. I'm thinking about changing up this quite soon, but at the moment I've just got a spare seat which doubles as a laundry basket, and then I've got this old tool chest that I got from one of my dad's mates who sold me a load of tools, and he gave it to me in this box. So this is the bed that was the two before, and again slot into these brackets, which were just scrap bits of metal from work. And then yeah, little handle. Pops on. Another really good thing about the bed being on the pulley system is that they slot in, and then I can pack out the bed and level the bed out even if the vehicle's not level. So I can be on like a ridiculous slope and have a really good night's sleep because I've got lots of little bits of wood to even it all out. And then yeah, you just sort of hop on using a bit of the kitchen worktop. I was thinking about putting a ladder in, but I never got around to it. It's been 2 years now. So I just sort of jump in. Proper bed, you know. I call it the floating mezzanine. There are nice little holes in the chassis. I've got all these storage holes, and this one's the one that goes to the wood store. So that one's going there, and you can just pull the wood up from in there. Yeah, it slots back in. If I don't move, and I'm paying like not a lot for land rent, I save so much money. You know, I can work the summer, 5 months of working really hard, and then I can have the winter off and do what I want to do. You know, you can just not be trapped. I love my lorry, I love getting this, he's awesome, like I wouldn't change him, but like I would tell myself to buy a bus because then you don't have to build the outside and it's not an absolute nightmare. Whenever I take it anywhere, I'm a bit knackered after driving it, and like people I'm with are like, oh, let's go, and I'm like, I've just driven this thing for 4 hours. It doesn't have power steering, and like I'm always terrified of like it's so big of like touching something or hurting someone, or you know, just buy a bus. It'd be so much easier. Don't know, I suppose something about my lorry, I was given a bit of stick for it being hard to drive and stuff like that, but one of the best things about it is it's just loads of fun, and like every time I drive this it puts a massive grin on my face. So I mean, practicality is great and all, but like nothing beats like a massive smile when an old lady's like trying to pull over further into the hedge and just like this massive shed is driving, and it's just the most ridiculous thing in the world. So yeah, I don't know, have fun with it. The hardest part is starting, and once you've got it, the ball starts rolling and things just start falling into place, and you start spending more and more time looking at how things are built, and then you start learning how things are built, and then you start learning how to put them together and start. That's all I say to everyone that asks me, you know, there's no time like the present.